Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review what I feel are the top 10 4K Blu-ray discs of 2019. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at Movie Guy 365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link to that in the description. All right, so 2019 is almost over, and wow, it's been a great year for 4K discs all around. I think we've seen some incredible movies come out in the format, and there's a lot to really just, set aside from like what are some of the average entries versus what are the top-notch, cream of the crop. And it was a very difficult decision. I really was just struggling with my list for several weeks. And ultimately I settled on, I feel, is a good overall offering of what 2019 had to offer. And what, some of the good, a lot of these are demo material, whether picture quality or audio or a mixture of both. I feel that these best represent the best 4K discs of 2019. Now, of course, this is going to be a very subjective list. Yours will most likely be different, but I'm interested in the comment section if you could tell me what you feel are your best entries of 2019 for 4K. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump into my number 10, and that is going to be Alita Battle Angel. Now, as far as this goes, of course, it is packaged with the 3D edition, which I will probably be talking about on the 3D list coming shortly. But yeah, I feel overall, it is a very beautiful looking disc, and it also has a very impressive sound stage, and it's not only is it a fun movie, but it's beautiful to look at. It's a world, once again, that James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez were able to create, and it just takes full advantage of your audio system and your picture. Now, I feel that the picture can be a tad little bit soft on occasion, but I don't feel that it really is, to that movie's detriment. I think it's just really a very impressive overall, just quality disc, absolutely worth checking out, and that is why it is my number 10. So my number 9, I wanted to include at least one movie that was an older film that received, I feel, a brand new light of day kind of thing, and that is going to be The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's. Now, it was really tough choice between this and The Wizard of Oz. This is probably the one I went back and forth with the most, but I feel because Wizard of Oz, not only is that impressive, and you should definitely check that out, but I just feel that The Shining took kind of what I always felt were muddy and murky DVDs and so forth, and even the Blu-ray I don't feel was overly impressive, and it kind of just gave it a brand new life. It looks spectacular. I think the audio mix is, for that kind of a movie, is just really just reinvigorated like my love for the film, and it has appropriate levels of film grain, but the clarity, it is gorgeous. It looks like it could have been shot like 2 weeks ago. Awesome looking disc overall, and I think it really puts the there's a bit of debate whether older films benefit. They absolutely do, and I think The Shining is, for pardon the pun, a shining example of how that goes. But yeah, definitely check that one out, and that is why it's my number 9. My number 8 is John Wick Chapter 3. Which, considering I believe I would have put John Wick Chapter 2 in the top 10 list if I had a channel back then, I think it's a gorgeous looking 4K image. Beautiful. Like, just the HDR / Dolby Vision are very impressive. It's one of the best looking discs by far of 2019. It is absolutely awesome. It has a well-rounded Atmos track, and it sounds great. And while it's not my favorite movie of the franchise, I still think it is just a visual treat, and definitely something you want to impress your friends with if they're wondering about going into 4K or anything. This is the movie you really want to show and just kind of let them bask in it for a few minutes. It is that gorgeous. It is awesome, and I highly recommend that as my number 8. My number 7 is going to be Black Hawk Down. Now, I recently rewatched this one, and it really kind of cemented how I felt about the disc. Overall, it is stunning. Now, while visually it has a certain flair to it, it has a certain camera lens angle. Those camera lens, the picture is it's great. It really looks good. I never was overly impressed with the DV back in the day, but when I saw this on 4K for the first time when I reviewed it, I was very impressed with it. And the audio mix is probably in my top 2 of the year, how good this sounds. It is so impressive. It puts you right in the middle of things. It is a wonderful representation of, you know, a 90s type film that, and you know, that can really look good, sound great with a proper just guidance on how to make something like this just pop. This is demo material 101, no question about it. Definitely check out Black Hawk Down. And my number 6 is going to be Brightburn. Now, I like this movie quite a bit, but I think while it is beautifully rendered in HDR, I think the audio mix is the most impressive thing about this. So it's so directional. It's very omnidirectional, especially when the main character Brandon is utilizing his powers. And it's just your rears are you know, just whizzing by your head at any given moment. The height speakers have very impressive amounts of just good sound. This is an impressive disc. The LFE kicks in on very aggressive tones, and you've got a lot going on as far as the front channels. Visually, as I said, HDR is just really good here. It's a shame we didn't get the Dolby Vision. I think that would have really made this probably my number 1. But it is absolutely a beautiful looking disc, and the audio alone is just so impressive. Absolutely check out Brightburn. My number 5 is going to be First Man. Now, this is definitely another one that really is more sound than picture quality, but I feel it is also a great representation of just an overall encompassing 4K disc. Now, it absolutely makes use of those audio channels. It's very impressive. It's basically, you know, you're imagining kind of like an Apollo type program, and they're going into space. And you can imagine what that sound stage is going to be. You get those speakers cranked up, your volume turned up, you are going to be getting complaints from the neighbors, because this is absolutely a demo-worthy audio mix. Picture quality is very good. It was shot on film, I believe, for the most part, and it looks great. It has an old filmic look to it, but it's still very overall clean image, and it's really good. While the movie is a little bit slow at times, I do feel that when those action scenes kick in, you are getting your money's worth here, and it's just really a good-looking overall, just really impressive disc is First Man. My number 4 is going to be Overlord. This first 20 minutes of this movie is demo material all day long. I had a friend over a couple months ago, and this is what I popped in for him to try out, and he was very impressed with it. I mean, it's really just something that just kicks a lot of ass, takes a lot of names, and I think because a lot of this film is in dark interiors and it takes place at night, you get good use of those deep black levels as far as HDR goes. And it's a really beautiful looking disc overall. Yes, it is dark, as I mentioned, but the fair amount of detail and the audio, especially that first 20 minutes, is truly impressive. You really have a lot going on in this disc overall, and it is absolutely a demo disc. Check it out. It's a fun movie, and it's something you can really go back to every once in a while. It's a new take on, you know, on wartime in a sense, but it's really got a lot going for it, and I absolutely recommend Overlord as a top tier for the year. My number 3 is going to be Mortal Engines. Now, this is one of the movies that was shot in true 4K, and it really shows visually. I think it's very pleasing to the eyes, despite it being a post-apocalyptic, but it's more or less like a steampunk kind of aesthetic as far as the film goes. And let me just tell you, that HDR really just shines here. It's very impressive. It is just, there's a lot of good color to it, despite the bleakness of some areas in the film and the world. But it really is beautiful to look at, and the audio mix is also very monstrous. It has a lot going on. You have rolling cities that are just tearing apart the landscape, and you feel that in your surround sound space. It is a very just immersive overall 4K experience. When I saw it in the theater, I was one of the things it popped to mind was this would be an impressive 4K disc, and I was not wrong. That is absolutely demo worthy in my opinion. It is one of the best of 2019. You absolutely should check that out. My number 2 is going to be Godzilla King of the Monsters. Everything I just said about Mortal Engines, dial that up at least 2 for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Look, I don't have to explain that the audio mix on this is going to be extremely aggressive, and it very much is. But also it has a fair amount of good picture quality. I will say, though, that Dolby Vision does its job. And despite I feel that there are a few shortcomings creative-wise as far as filmmaking goes, I still think that this is really a gorgeous looking disc to look at. There's a lot going on. Those colors pop like really aggressively. And there's a lot of detail, and the black levels are really nice in those scenes. But audio mix, wow, this is something that you absolutely want to just rock and roll with. It is really impressive. Easily just one of the best of 2019. It's not even a discussion at this point, but it's, yes, I would say Godzilla King of the Monsters, despite what you might think of the film. If you want demo material, you are getting this all day long and then some. So definitely check that out. And my number one is going to be Aquaman. I feel visually and audio-wise, this is almost a perfect marriage as far as what we get as far as the 2019 4K disc. This is a beautiful, beautiful looking picture. Audio is on point, and it's just really very immersive because a lot of scenes take place underwater. So you've got, you know, that underwater effect just constantly like enveloping you. It just holds you a lot of the time, and that's to complement like already the action scenes, the dialogue, everything sounds just perfect here. And visually, it is gorgeous. Dolby Vision is rocking and rolling, and it's really just absolutely one of the best discs of 2019, and it's an awesome movie. That is my 4K best of for 2019. I'm really interested to hear what you feel are the best discs of 2019. Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.